So this workshop is to talk about the 21-day process, and we'll talk a bit more about the process in general, because it's we can talk a lot of only on that subject. I first myself did my first process in 2012, so now 7 years ago, and I only had available the book of Jasmine, where she explains how to do the 21-day process that she wrote down in 1996 or 95, so around 25 years ago. And I had only that available because I wanted to do it with Henri Montfort in that period, but he was completely booked. So, and as I couldn't wait a year, I wanted to do it. So I just came here in this nice place, and I started on the 15th of November, my first 21-day process. And that period I had another girlfriend, and Rafaela, and she was helping me, assisting me during the process. So the process of jasmining is one of the most famous one. It's the first week you go dry, so no water, and then the second week you just go on diluted juices, 20% of juices, 80% of water. And on third week, it's 40% of juices and 60% of water. So you kind of recuperate it. So for me, I did the process. It was not so hard, but it was like I was in a state of my body. I was living in Paris before, and I had a city life, very intense. I used to smoke cigarettes. And I've never done a detox before or a fasting before, so that was basically my first big experience after I was 41, now I'm 48 years old. And I did all the process up to day 21, and I felt weak, and I was sleeping a lot, and I didn't feel so much energy. So for me, it wasn't a successful process, apparently. And then I said, okay, I tried it, it's okay, but I think I'm gonna go back on food because I lost 14 kilos and I was quite thin. And I didn't have anyone following me. I just wrote an email to Henri Montfort, and he said, it's fine, you go on, no problem. On day 14, and so that was nice, and so everything was pretty safe. The only thing that happened to me during this 21-day process is I fainted. It means I lost my senses, and I'm quite tough. I've done martial arts, I've done sports, but you know, when you faint the first time, you can be as strong as you want. The first time, it's just a surprise. It's going to happen. You're going to see white, you're going to see the stars, and then you're going to open up your eyes and you'll be lying down because you're going to fall. It happened to me 3 times during the process, and it was the first times that it happened in my life, and it could have been really, really dangerous. So this is one of the reasons that here in this festival, we don't want anyone to go dry or to have a process if he is not used to it. So if somebody is already a Breatharian, that's okay. But if you have never done that kind of experience, you shouldn't do this during the festival. And you shouldn't do the process alone for that reason. This is why it's always recommended to have a facilitator, and you want a secure place to have a process. Because one thing is to fall onto the grass, you know, and knock your head gently on the grass. But imagine if you are on the concrete and your head knocks on the concrete. So it can be really dangerous. Somebody fainting is the nightmare of a facilitator. And it happens. It happens because people will stand up quickly from the chair. They will start walking, and you will faint while you will be walking, because the blood is not coming up quick enough to the brain, because in that moment you're going in the detox. And when your body is in the detox, all the energy of your body is used to clean, to heal. So you don't have it to use your body in a daily way. So when you're lying down, when you're standing up, or when you're doing some physical efforts during a 21-day process, you need really to be in the right place with the right people, everyone doing the same thing, and with a facilitator. So this is one, the fainting. So I fainted 3 times. And then I went back on eating again for a year, and then my weight came back. And during all these months, I figured out that I healed a lot of things that I had. My back was healed. I could sleep like a baby. I didn't have all the pains I had. My muscles were great. My joints were feeling great. My tissues, I had problems with my tissues, and they were feeling good because I had the detachment of my gingivas because of my smoking. I had some, but it healed. And the dentist said to me, "Oh, what have you done?" And I said, "Oh, I fasted." "Oh, that's great. You don't need an operation." And so after my 21-day process that lasted 35 days, actually, I stayed on liquids up to 35 days, and so I discovered all the benefits of the process, not during the process, but after the process. And I said, that's great. And I went back on food, and I could eat a lot of food again. And I was really, but slowly, I was getting back my mass, and my pain came back. And I said, oh, something is wrong. So after a year, I said, now I'm going to sign up with the Breatharian. I'm going to sign up in advance with Henri Montfort, because this was the one in France. I was living in more in Paris than here in that period. And then I signed up with him. And I did my second process with him. It was in June 2014. So it was like 5 years ago. And then it was a discovery, because the process was so easy for me that it was like I was walking through, really easily. And at the end of the process, Henri Montfort checks the weight of the people. People have to have stable weight. So we take the weight with the scale on day 15, 18, and 21, and you need to have a stabilized weight. And he checks your energy. If your energy is great at day 21, it's okay. And he checks the sleep. So you need to sleep at half the amount of sleep you had before the process. This is usually, all these are 3 signs that you're not fasting, that you're not losing your energy, that you're not losing your weight, and that you're not sleeping too much. Because if you're sleeping too much, it means that you're eating yourself. Your weight is decreasing, and you're going to lose your energy, because you're going to go into anorexia nervosa. Anorexia nervosa is the dangerous anorexia that is going to lead you to death. The other one that we want is called anorexia mirabilis in Latin. It's the one that is the pranic nourishment in Latin. And it's the anorexia. It also has another name, inedia prodigiosa, and not inedia nervosa. So all these are the saints, the Christian saints, this is the pranic nourishment. So if you don't have these 3 criterions at the end of the 21-day process, you are probably, the body is doing a fasting, okay? Even if you don't want, but you need to look at your body and accept that it's not the right time, and then you go back a bit on food, or you go back on food. So if you have one out of these 3, one criterions out of these 3, probably you're doing a fasting, it's pretty sure. If you have 2, it means if you have the energy and the sleep, but the weight is not stabilized, you need to go on juices, to continue on juices. Oh yeah, sorry. So, hello, I'm free. The process I did with Henri Montfort, he does it only with water. He doesn't do any dry days, and he doesn't. The protocol, you're going to stay on water from day 1 to 21. So it's a very smooth process and a equilibrated process. The reason he does that is he wants people to have a food experience on level 4. not going dry, because dry, when for your first experience, can be dangerous for some organs. So, and in the first week, you release a lot of toxins. So it's more safer for the most amount of people. And then you don't go back on calories, because the calories will not get you out of the process. The liquid calories will not get you out of the process, but they will slow down the process. They will slow down the emotional and cellular detox process that happens on the second and the third week. So to keep on water is a smooth detox up to day 21. And you are basically on level 4. Level 4 means you're not assuming calories. Okay, drinking water is not calories. And so at the end of the 21 days, it's like we take a picture. We want to see what is happening to your body. So weight is stabilized, energy is there, you're sleeping less, you are a Breatharian, potentially. This is a potential. You are potentially a level 4. Then what happens on day 22 is all another story. We're going to talk about that. What we want is on day 21, what is happening. If you only have if one is missing of these 3, it's okay. You'll still have potentially a Breatharian, maybe not level 4, but level 3. Level 3 means you go on juices, you see if your weight stabilizes, you see if your energy comes back, and then you can stay on juices. It happens that in the groups, people do the 21 days and they stay on juices. I know only 1 or 2 people that did the 21 days and stayed on water. So one is Henri Montfort, and another one is somebody that I facilitated at distance. And it's a woman, and she stayed on water for more than 100 days, and she was stabilized weight. And so personally, I did stabilize my weight, my energy, and my sleep. Thank you, Arshad. And the group, we were 28. It was in June 2014, and the 6 of us had the 3 criteria. And so Henri Montfort said to me, "Oh, you're a Pranic. You're a Breatharian." I said, "Wow, that's nice. Thank you." And then I came back here. I stayed 1 week more on water, and then my weight started to drop. And I said, "Whoa, something is happening to me. I'm losing weight." So I was losing weight and strength and energy, and I said, I need to go back on food again, because the field of energy during a process is not the same field of energy when you go back to your normal life, with the family, with the work, with your friends, and all your life. So this is the real process. The real process is in your daily life. So when I was seeing that, I went back on food, because I was with my girlfriend, and my girlfriend didn't want to go Breatharian. So there was a conflict. So it happened a few months later that we split it, and I said to myself, wow, I'm alone now. And now I can go and do it as much as I want. So I went back on doing my own process. I did like 15 days, and then I had a meal, and then I did 12 days, I had a meal. And then I was finding my own rhythm, you know. I was finding my own time and space, having a meal once in a while, and keeping in this state. So this is what I call the level 3. It means when you have a process and then you go back on food, you are level 2. Level 1, you haven't had an experience. Level 2, you have an experience. Level 3, you hold the state. And that was the beginning of my journey as a Breatharian. It means 5 years ago. And then I invited Henri Montfort to have a group here in this place. And that was in 2015. And this is when we opened the center here, the Pranic Center. So he came here for 4 years. And now he's no longer having process anymore. And I'm doing the process. I started here, but I started also 5 years ago, because the story is that he had to come in September of 2015, but there was not enough people for him to come. There were 10 people. And he said to me, Nicolas, I'm not going to come, you do the process. I said, me? Facilitate people? I said to myself, okay, I'll try. And was my first process facilitating a group. It was in 2015. And so since then, I facilitate groups here. I facilitated over 300 people in a 21-day process. And now, this year, we opened on a 9-day process. It's a shorter version because we figured out that 21 days is a long time and not everyone is ready for 21 days. It's a really tough and extreme process for the body. You need to be in physical health, mentally and physically. Now we ask a health certificate to people. They need to go to see the doctor. They mustn't say they're going to do a 21-day process. Otherwise, the doctor is going to say, what? But they need to have a good heart. It means that they need to be able to have physical activity, not competitive, but at least normal activity, trekking, yoga, and all that. So we take that because people think they are in good shape, but they don't know actually because it's a long time they didn't have a checkup. So we want them to have a checkup for them and for us and for everyone. Because it happened during one of my process in France, that somebody died during one of my process. So you must really be aware of that it can be really dangerous. So you don't need to have a process to become a Breatharian. A process is something that you can do to accelerate. It's going to give you an acceleration. The process, if it doesn't work, it means if you don't turn out to have the criterions at the end of the process, it doesn't matter because it always works in the way that you're going to do a detox. My first process, it didn't work at all, apparently, but it worked because I had a huge detox. I cleaned out 40 years of my lifestyle I had in Paris. So I had one process to clean myself, to prepare, and a second process to manifest completely the state and to become potentially a Breatharian. Then it's up to you, with your free will, to tune back in your field of life, go back on food and taste what's better for you. Because it's not about holding a state with your ego, with your mind, but it's about listening to your body if it is the right way, a lifestyle for you in that moment. Because you probably will go in conflict with friends, family, because what you do, everyone is doing in the same. You're showing something to everyone around you. So even if you don't speak about it, it can be very, very violent for the people living with you or knowing you. I changed all my friends. You are now my friends, you know. I have a lot of Brazilian friends. So I felt very lonely at one moment of my life, and this is why I organized this festival. This is why I organized my life around all this, because I said I need to meet people, I need to bring people, and they need to meet themselves and talk, because otherwise you feel really lonely in the city and in the world doing that. So now it's getting more and more. So it's not a movement, it's not an organization. It's just we want all the world to be that. I really don't want to facilitate groups. I really don't want to have to do this festival. I would better be already in a world where everyone is Breatharian. Okay? So I'm really ready to stop all my process, everything. But as no one is doing it, I like to do things that no one is doing. So it's like, I'm going to do it because no one is doing it. I'm going to have this festival because no one is doing it. So I'm going to have something else in the future. I always been a bit like that, you know, a pioneer. I find that it's exciting in life to do things new and be a help to the greater, to our civilization, to humanity. And yeah. So just to keep on the process. So the 9-day process. So the process is really. This is why I call myself a facilitator. It's like if we go mountaineering in the mountains. There's the track, you know. I know the track. I've went through the track many, many times. So the group is going to come with me on the mountain. I'm gonna help them to go through the hard places where there's rocks. I'm going to help them because I know what are the steps. And if somebody asks me help, I'm going to give them help. But usually I let the group follow the track naturally. If I don't need to intervene in the group to go up to the top of the mountain, it's perfect, you know, it's perfect. But sometimes it requests some help. So this is me. This is a facilitator. I'm like a stick. During the journey, you can take that stick and go a bit, you know, help. I'm a friend. I'm not a master. I don't teach anything. The process is the teacher. Okay, there's already there. It's you are your own teacher, and it's inside of you. So basically, Jasmine channeled the process like 30 years ago in a channeling, and then she did it, you know, and it worked out for her. And this process is ancient as human beings exist. Okay. 21 is a sequence number, is a magic number, because it's 21. It's from the Fibonacci sequence, and it is in the same time a golden number, 3 times 7. So it's the link of the Fibonacci sequence and the golden number. So it means that for us, for human beings, it resonates in a way that it's amazing. They use it in medicine, in regular medicine. It has always been used to create a new habit. What we want is to build a new habit for ourselves, because I want to remember you that we are made of atoms. Our atoms are made of cells, and the cells are doing our body. So who are we? We are kings and queens of our kingdom, and we have a lot of people here, and they're all intelligent, and they're all working with simple orders, simple duties. So 21 days we want to build a new habit and bring enough cells and atoms to start taking more prana, taking more chi, taking more consciousness. So this can only happen in a body that is healed. Okay? If your body is not healed, and if you have some illness or suffering, the energy won't flow correctly. Okay? So you will feel tired. And if you feel tired, that's okay. It means that the energy is working to heal, to unblock the channels, and to make the energy flow. We have people during the process up to day 18, day 20, they really feel weak, and then from a day to another, they just rise up and they say, whoa, something changed, the energy is flowing, and pranic energy is raising in them, and they feel much better. This can happen at any moment during the process. We also have people not having that energy coming back, so we give them juices during the process. So we are very careful that people, when we see that they can't switch on pranic energy enough, they can go on juices, diluted juices, and slowly it raises their energy. So some people go on juices for a few days, and it just makes a click, and then they go back on water, and they feel okay. So it's really one-to-one what can happen during the process. Some people that are really too weak in the beginning, they can also start directly on juices. So there are many ways of having the 21-day process, or at least the way I facilitate it now. And for some people that are really a lot of experience, some people that have already done 21-day process, they can also have some dry days. Okay, so we talk about that, and they can have some dry days. Okay. You can only have dry days, for my experience, only when your body has already had experience on water, because you want your body just to be more fluid, more open, more ready, more detoxed to go on dry days. This is really important, because the capacity of your body to produce their own water, yes, it happens like that. So Breatharians level 4, they had a lot of detox going on for months, years. So you can't switch like that because you're doing dry days. I'm not using the word fasting. Okay, fasting is something else. Dry days. Dry days is you're pushing your body you're forcing your body in something that it has to come naturally. If joy is not present, something you're forcing. So joy must be always present. So this is a process of joy. It mustn't be a process of suffering. Because you mustn't finish the process in a suffering situation where you're going to go back on food. It means that you are putting yourself in another kind of danger. Because after a fast, if you eat in the wrong way, you can also die of eating. Okay, we have people in the fasting paradigm, people dying because they eat a potato and the potato gets stuck, or just drinking 1 liter of juices in a row. And the problem is that when your organs are stressed, they are not happy because you force them on starvation. And then you put some food inside, they are going to go in conflict and they're going to just go knockout. And if your organs are going knockout when you put food inside, it's gonna make a mess. So it's really, really, really dangerous. So for people so we check all that during the process. So 21-day process is really not a joke. You really want to do it to be safe and to have a nice place to do it and a facilitator to help you out. All the other process in the world, there are many, many processes with juices, with very good facilitators, and you can do any kind of process. You will have a great experience. 21-day process, the one of Jasmine is a bit old now. The one with water is much more softer, and many people come up with new processes. It's good for you to go and see what are the updates of the process, okay? Don't just take the book of Jasmine and just, because this process is 25 years old. Oh, I have some questions now. There are many groups around the world, Facebook groups. You can have a lot of information, questioning. So the process of Jasmine works, of course. All the processes works, but really don't be alone on this journey. Okay, now we're trying to bring the information out to be as safest as possible. Okay, I've been speaking for half an hour. We still have a quarter of an hour. I wanted just to open to questions from you. And I would just want to point out that so we have an open center here, Pranic Center opening, and having process every month, and 9-day process, 21-day process. You can also have a free space for your own process. You don't need to have me as a facilitator or Rafaela or any other facilitator that is present. You can also rent a room, put a tent, and be in a secure place and have your own process all year. Okay, so let's start with the question. Okay, Maggie is saying to me that she wants people to stop doing the 21 days. She wrote down on the book, and do just 9 days is quite enough. So 9 days is a pretty good number also to have a first start. Please.
In the beginning, do you have to consciously take in prana? So, I mean, during the process and in the weeks after the process, do you have to do it consciously? So, do you have to sit for 10 minutes in the morning to have a pranic breakfast? Or does this happen automatic and naturally?
Okay, thank you for the question. So, in the beginning, when you practice, as everything, you need some training. So, you're going to train until it is going to become automatic. So when it's automatic, you don't need to think about it. It's like a baby that learns how to walk, and then you know how to walk. So during the process, we don't have, at least minds, we don't have techniques. It's the contrary. We try to let all the techniques go away, because the techniques will be always minded, and the mind is going to take a lot of energy. So we want the mind to step down and the higher consciousness to rise. And to enable to do that, you need to really let go on everything that you know. And the most people who have difficulties to drop down is the more knowledge you have, and the more it's going to be hard for you to let go. So you need to let go, abandon yourself into the process. So basically, just to relax is the best thing that you can do, because prana is always there. Your all Breatharians, potentially, you're just under drugs since a long time. So you just need to let your body do it. Your body is so intelligent. The mind is very limited. Higher wisdom will just do everything that is needed. So the only thing we do during a process, and now we do it in a stable, is have a nice walk in nature. In the morning at 9 o'clock, we always walk around here. Everyone walks his own speed, finds his own way, his own breath, and walks naturally. So when it's raining, we only do some yoga, qigong in the meditation room, and that's the best thing we have discovered. And then with consciousness, it happens naturally. So we don't need to go in. We just do a small meditation, 10 minutes before the sharings, just to tune in, to tune in the space, and yeah. And then it's up to each one to find the best way and to understand how energy is leaking from you. So what is your main concern in life that takes you a lot of energy away? Can be your work, can be your family, can be your thoughts, your fears, and just to let it go, to observe, And the more you keep in the process, to look at you having the effects of the drugs. So when you eat food, you will have a certain effect. You will go back in emotions, emotions going out of your center. And when you tap into the state you are in the process, staying with no calories, naturally your centers go back. You are tapping in the blissful state. So in the blissful state, you don't have any emotions. You are in a state of equanimity. Beautiful, where the suffering has no space. You don't suffer. It's a dissolution of suffering. So what I say has been said by everyone in the past, and is going to be said again and again, and much more now, because now we have technology to share. Was that okay? Thank you. Another question, please?
Yes, for the people who still takes...
Oh, Astrid.
Yes. For the people who still take some calories, what is your opinion or experience between ketosis, so oil calories, and fruit sugar calories?
Okay. So, when you want to get high on alcohol, when you take alcoholics, you can choose how you want to have your evening. You can have a glass of wine, you can have some beer, or you can have a grappa or a vodka, So the same thing is for sugar. The way you're going to get high, it's up to you. You can have a good sugar of the fruits, or you can have a snack, a Bounty, a Mars, or you can have a Coke. So it's going to have a different effect on you, okay? You can't predict that effect. And even if you could predict that effect on you, it will only be for you, because we are all different. So the way you're going to get high is really you need to accept your body that wants to get something, even if it is some meat, because you maybe have that detox that you need to be gentle with your body, and that you don't stop taking drugs from a day to another. You don't want to be too strong on your body. Otherwise, it's not going to happen the right way. So when you stop alcohol, when you stop smoking, it's going to be a gentle, smoothly way. And the same for food. So to detox on food, you need to be gentle. So sometimes you will want to eat a lot. So what I suggest you is, before having that wanting to eat, just eat before with joy, understanding that you are in the process. So instead of waiting the moment, I need to eat something because I'm feeling weak, just find your own way of being safe and eating with joy, with consciousness, just looking the food like as something that you need to raise your consciousness, and it's going to happen month after month, year after year, slowly. You're going to need less food. your body will take more energy, because prana is energy naturally. Your consciousness will rise, and then one day it will happen naturally that you will say, I'm feeling great. It's like 40 days I haven't eaten anything. I'm just drinking some water, like that. Your weight is stabilized, you have energy, and you're feeling great. Okay? So that can happen spontaneously. It happens naturally to people. It can also happen after a process. But there's not such thing that if you do a process, it's going to happen. That is not true. The process is an accelerator. Okay? It is going to help you. But it's not a magic wand. It's not magic. So you need to check how you feel. You know, if you're going to go on, if you lose some energy, you need just to eat enough. You know, I eat mediumly 1 meal a week. Sometimes when I do a process, 21-day process, I stay on water to keep the same energy. You know, but during the process, my weight goes down because I'm holding the process. So I have a loss of energy. It's okay. I lose a bit of weight, and then I have 1 meal, I take back 5 kilos, you know, or 4 kilos. And that's enough. I wait a few days, a few weeks, and then if I want to eat again, because I'm feeling a bit too thin, too skinny, I just eat. It's not a problem. Thank you. Another question?
Yep.
So,
hi. It's really nice to listen to you like that, because I had made my 21 days with Jasmine in Argentina in 2012, and I had nearly same experience. And I just can tell the people that it's really, really important, if you make the 21 days, that you also, after 21 days, to leave the community.
oh, maybe you need to come nearer, because it doesn't pick the signal. Yeah, try there, Tor. Try there. Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. Great.
Oh, wait. Hello?
Yeah.
That's very important what happens from the 21st day on. That's
22. Day
22.
Yeah.
To leave the was another thing, and it was really and I had to leave the community, and so it's really nice that you said, you know, the people can stay here afterwards. Yeah. Okay. So, and I fall also down and hit my head in the room on a cupboard, all blood, all open. So this experience you don't want to have.
No.
And so, but what I want to ask you, did you also did it in silence? Because we did it in silence. Was really great experience. 21 days, just 1 hour a day in the evening, to if you would like to speak.
Okay. Yes. So we do the 21 days in a way that is really open. It has to be the most closest way of living as a normal way. So the only thing we don't do is eating during the 21-day process. But we accept, I say to people, if they want to go on silence themselves, they can go. They can put a badge in silence. They can do it. But I want the people during the process I facilitate to be the most free possible.
Yes.
And we organize groups sometimes to go to the river, to go to the mountain, and even to go to the city. I have a really nice friend in the city who is a world champion pizza. And not in the first week, but in the second week, usually I bring the group to see the pizzas.
Yeah.
And to present all the pizzas so they can have the flavor. Because when you're going to tune out the safe field of energy, and on day 22 you're going to be out there, it's going to be like hell.
Yes. Yes.
So I want people to have a kind of experience already, and so we go to also supermarkets. They can see all of it, and they feel detached, and they feel safe, and like that they are used to be normal. Because the idea is to be normal in real life, and to be able to live in the city with no problems and no much temptations.
Oh, that's great, because
Yeah,
that was what was missing from the second 22nd, to not to know what to do, you know, going out in the world and from one day to the other seeing all that things and feeling.
And so people can stay here also, to stay a bit longer, you know, and come back to have a reset also, no problem. So the only thing that could happen is you go out and you want to start to eat a lot, you know. That's okay, it's part of the process. So if you eat too much, you can throw up, okay?
So I wanted to say that the silence is cleaning as well, and very nice to do, you know.
Yes.
That's
I do some silent days also, and if some people who are used to Vipassana want to do silent days, it's pretty perfect. It's pretty okay, yeah. Thank you, Taro. Thank you.
The last question.
DJ.
Thank you. I wanted to ask, in the 21-day process, do people have you seen people usually go and do number 2 within the 21 days?
Okay, so this is so don't worry. We look at number 2 as a friend in yourself. It's part of you. So everything that is in you is really good. Don't worry. Don't put a separation outside or inside. So we've seen last process we did in May. We had I did on day 20 my first number 2, and we had 3 people not having number 2 during the 21 day. It's not a problem. The only thing that you should do before a 21 day process is not eat a lot the 2-3 days before the process. You don't want to stack food, okay? And if you need to do an enema or a cleaning before, not during. Because when you do an enema, you do something, you're going to take stuff away, but you're going to take also good stuff away. And it's an intrusion. It's always the mind intruding. Oh, I need to do this, to do this, to do this, to clean. No. The process is going to take care of you from your toes up to your hair. It's going to enlighten everything in your body. Okay, it's going to go where you don't have any expectations. So it's a really hard process, and the beginning is not the hardest part. The first week is the physical detox, but the second and the third week, the second week is the strongest. Is the emotional detox and the cellular detox. When you will be facing your true identity, who you are, your memories, your joys and your pains of your life that are coming up as you were there. You know, like if it was happening like 20 years ago, what happened in your childhood, or the bad things. This is what can make people crazy. So you want to be in a safe place with a safe facilitator that can help you out. And when you detox that, you let go all these crystallized emotions that you had in your life, that is in your subtle body. Then you step into the third week, that is the week of blissfulness, and that you enter a new space. And this is the state, the natural state of being. Okay, you enter the kingdom finally. And you are safe. You are in a safe place, and then we need to check if your physical state is safe, okay? Because you can be really peaceful with your mind, but this is why I say to people, no, you should go back to it because you are in this state, and don't do crazy things now, because people go very, very high. Can go really high, and the idea is to have this experience in our physical body, okay? We don't want to have external body activity. Spirit. We are here to manifest a physical body and to be happy in this physical body. So I want to remind you, for people, I'm going to do a bit of publicity. We are having a 9-day process on day 12 of June up to day 20 of June, just here in this spot after the festival. So we are already 6 or 7 people, so if you want to join in, you can come to see me in the info point. So I'm going to stop here because I'm really, like, my father is German, and 45 minutes, so I had my workshop. Thank you so much. Thank you. Enjoy.